My dear Patterns of Possibility listeners, I want to let you know that I really do appreciate you listening to this podcast. Your listenership means a lot to me. And this podcast is my sincere gift to you. And maybe you'd like to take action on reciprocating this gift. If you would, I'll mention a few things that are pretty helpful to me in the creation of this podcast. One thing that you could do is rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure to give it 5 stars. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Also, another thing that you can do to support my efforts is to sign up at my email list at Patterns of Possibility. When you sign up, you'll receive actionable steps to making meaningful connections. We talk about everything from people pleasing to ghosting, socializing do's and don'ts, compliments, one-sided friendships, and everything in between. So if you'd like support on making more meaningful connections with your friends and family or businesses and coworkers, sign up. Another thing that you could do is follow me on social media. I'm looking at TikTok in particular because I'm there all of the time. I'm on the road to reach 10,000 followers so that I can live stream some of my workshops. It'd be really helpful, and it would help me bring these opportunities to you for free. The last thing that I could recommend that you do is if you like this podcast and you know of someone who might enjoy it, please share it with that person. Share it with a friend. It really does go a long way. With that said, once again, your listenership means a whole lot to me. Thank you so much for your support. Hey, what's going on? My name's Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about grudges and how they impact you and your relationships, and actually what you can do about them. And I guarantee, if you've listened to this podcast for the very first time, you're probably not going to like what you hear. But if you're familiar with the work and what I do, you're going to learn how to empower yourself through these grudges. All right? When people do things, you're going to learn how to respond to them. And this is what this episode is about. But if you don't like accountability and you don't like to be responsible for your actions, you may as well just turn this off right now. Unsubscribe, get away from me, because this is going to frustrate the heck out of you. But if you made it to this point, welcome. I'm so happy to help you. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, we can talk about grudges. The grudges? A grudge, by definition, because I had to look this up, I wanted to make sure that I got it. It's not just a thing that people are transgressing against you or something like that. I wanted to look at the dictionary definition. A grudge is a persistent feeling of ill will or resentment resulting from a past insult or injury. It involves harboring negative emotions, often anger or bitterness towards someone due to a real or perceived wrongdoing. Often due to a real or perceived wrongdoing. And I think it's really important to note that it is real or perceived. Like, you might not think that you have hurt somebody, you transgressed against somebody, but they feel it. They feel it. You have wronged them. You are a wrongdoer. And that grudge is just this feeling that when they see your face, or maybe when you see their face, but when you see their face, or maybe when they see your face, that experience, that negative emotion returns. It returns. And they can't help it. It's really one important thing about it is they can't help that feeling that they have because they see you and they're pissed. They see you and they remembered, instantly transported back to the situation. Or maybe it's not that instant. Maybe you have a conversation with them and suddenly the thing comes up. And you can't see me, but I'm doing the air quotes. The thing, whatever it was, it strikes that pain point. It reminds me of the anger, the frustration, the bitterness towards you for the thing that you've done that wronged them, and you're not even aware of it. Many times, maybe, you're not even aware of the thing that they're upset about, and they're holding a grudge against you. This conversation or this topic today is all about grudges and how people hold them against you and what you need to do or what you can do to help alleviate that pain, that frustration, the grudge. Get to it, get through it, get over the grudge. And I'm going to tell you right up front, one thing that you will not be successful doing, getting over this grudge, is telling them to get over it, just bury it, get away with it, stop talking about it, it's over, it's no big deal. You go ahead and say any of those things to them, and I guarantee you, you're going to have a fight. I guarantee you, they're not going to like that. The reason why is that we all are entitled to our feelings. Every single feeling that we have is valid and worth expression. And sometimes how people express their feelings doesn't feel good to us. Sometimes when we express our feelings, it doesn't feel good to them. But all our feelings are valid and worth expressing. It's the how you express the feeling. It's the how that we go about this. And people who hold grudges, I personally believe that they're not really great communicators, right? They're really not great communicators. Please don't come for me if you're holding for a grudge, or do come for me. I don't care. I want to hear what you have to say. Honestly, I do. I'm lying. I really do want to hear what you have to say. But people who hold grudges are not able to clearly communicate what they're feeling about their experience with you or their past experience. They're holding it. They're not able to get over it. They're not able to move on. So don't tell them to do that. They want to express their feelings and have someone, namely you, the person who has transgressed against them, to understand how they feel about their experience. This is what they're looking for, and that's why they're holding on so tightly to the grudge. Imagine it's like a gift that they're just holding on to so tightly, and they're waiting to deliver it to you. And they want you to open it and unwrap it and see the thing, the feelings that they have inside. And they're only holding on to it for you. They only want you to see it. And every time you meet them, they give you this gift. Every time you open it, maybe you don't even open it. Maybe you just throw it to the ground. You don't acknowledge it. You're not interested. You snap it away. You smack it away. Swat it to the ground. Showing that you're not interested in learning how they feel about their experience. And they're angry. Do you know how much time and effort and energy they put into this gift? I know it's a grudge. You know what's inside of it doesn't feel good. You feel uncomfortable about even touching it, about even looking at it. This again? You're bringing this to me again? Why do you even want to talk to me about this? It's over. Put it down. I don't care. And they keep trying to give it to you. And the reason why they're trying to give it to you is because they want you to understand how they feel about their experience with you. They want you to open it. Nobody else but you. This is what keeps us stuck in these connections with people who hold a grudge against us. They keep trying to tell us how they felt about an experience that they've had with us. And we, the person who, maybe you, the person who is meant to receive this gift, the gift of their feelings, the gift of their experience with you, you swat it down because it's so uncomfortable for you. It's so maddening to hear about how they're so frustrated. I don't know how they're delivering this message to you. Maybe it's a bunch of gibberish. Maybe it's a bunch of yelling, raised voices, but you don't want to hear it. I know I talked in code and analogy for this most of this explanation, but I know that if you're listening to this podcast, you're quite intelligent and you can follow along. Everybody wants to be heard, understood, appreciated, and accepted. When people share their feelings with you, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, if you treat that feeling as if it is a gift to you, as a present, as something that they willingly share with you, as you accept it with grace, understanding, you will connect with them. Even for these people who are holding these grudges, who have these gifts that are ugly wrapped. I don't even think ugly is a word, but they're ugly wrapped and they're full of disgusting kind of feeling things and you don't want to touch it. It's the best that they can do with what they have. It's a gift to you. Anytime anybody shares their feelings about their experiences is a gift to you. If you think about it this way, because we're talking about relieving grudges, we're talking about holding space for people who have grudges against you. If you think about it this way, you're going to be able to connect with them and you're going to be able to help them feel heard, understood, and appreciated. If you do not take this personally, if you look at this gift that they're giving you with the sloppy bow and the messed up wrapping paper, if you look at it as like this is the best that they can do and they're conveying their feelings about the experience with me, I better listen. I better not react. I better not talk about the delivery of the message that they've given to me. Now, get it. I get it. The gift is ugly. It's hard. They're raising their voice. They're yelling at you. It's not fun. It doesn't feel great. I understand that. If you're in a situation in which you cannot stand the delivery of the message when somebody is holding a grudge against you, leave. Stop. Pause. Tell them, I can't take this. This is not for me. I can't accept this right now, because you always have to take care of yourself first. These lingering grudges have destroyed friendships and they've completely devastated families. And if you don't want that to happen, I want you to think about it as such. People are giving you, to the best of their abilities, the understanding of their experiences. They're sharing that with you. And if you have transgressed against someone, or if you have not transgressed against someone and someone believes that, if you want to keep a connection with them, it will behoove you to listen to their experience, to accept that sloppily wrapped gift that they are sharing with you, to understand where they're coming from without your judgment. Without your judgment. Don't tell them that they're wrong because the bow is in the wrong place. It's in the bottom of the box. Or you can still see the tape that's on the box above the wrapping paper. You don't want to share those things with them. You want to spend time and understand and appreciate the fact that they brought this to you. You create a safe space for them. Now listen, this is only for you, these people, you personally, if you're a person who can handle someone else's intense emotion. I'm not out here asking you to listen to people who have really, really upset you, right? If you can't handle it, then don't go for it. I'm talking about the little things. The little things that you can possibly handle. They were upset by something small that you did, and you're holding space for them and understanding that space, understanding how they feel about the experience. And this, of course, is only for you who want to keep this connection. If you desire to be close to this person, you consider them to be a friend or a family member, and you want to continue being connected with them and supporting them and feel supported by them, then this is a step that you cannot skip. If you have wronged them in some way, real or perceived, you have to hear about it. You have to hold space for those people that you have wronged. Can you do that? Can you hold space? Can you care? Can you be considerate? Can you listen without judgment? If you can, then your relationship with that person is going to grow exponentially. Exponentially. It's likely that if you're able to perform this action, able to listen to them, able to hear them without shame, judgment, trying to protect yourself and saying, I didn't mean to do this, I didn't mean to do that, you're overreacting, without using those words, you will help them feel seen, heard, understood, and appreciated. I guarantee the level of your connection will go to new heights. New heights. I'm telling you. It's rare that we can come to our friends and say, you hurt me. You hurt me. And have them listen and care. If you can be that for your friend or your family member, I guarantee you that your connection will be so much stronger. Now, a quick disclaimer. I recommend that if you're new at this, helping people get over grudges, holding space for people, you do not endure the emotional outlash of anything like a family feud, fights, or disagreements that originated years before you were born. Don't even try to do that kind of stuff. You want to hold space for those people who are close to you for fairly new and small grudges or disagreements, right? I'm not telling you that you need to be abused and hurt and shamed. That's not it. There's a difference between you holding space for somebody you care about, holding space as in listening to their thoughts and their feelings and how you may have hurt them with consideration and kindness. You are not to be insulted and degraded and hurt because they're feeling hurt. There's a huge difference. The one thing that I wanted you to take away from this entire rant, the sharing of this truth that I've experienced, is that when you listen and hold space for people who genuinely feel that they're hurt, they don't want to hurt you. They want you to know how they feel about their experiences with you. They're not saying terrible things to make you sad, to make you cry, to make you feel the pain that they feel. They simply tell you about the actions that they have experienced or the actions or behaviors that you have done that make them have the experience. And if you are able to listen and be accountable for those experiences or for the actions that you have done that transgressed against them, whether you wanted to or not, then you can resolve the grudge. You can hear and do better. And also, you better believe that if you're doing all this hard work, they better be able to do this stuff for you too, right? I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. They should be able to do the same thing for you if you're looking for close connections with people. So if you're able to demonstrate that you care and you're interested about how they feel about the painful things that you may have done to them, whether you believed that you've done it or not, then you can get closer with your relationships. Are you tired of being around people who just don't get you? Have you been putting yourself out there but not able to find anybody that matches your vibe? You're not alone. Making friends, especially as an adult, is hard. My name's Coach Lee. I'm a social connections coach, and I want to help you find your tribe. I have a 3-step coaching program for groups and individuals that's designed to help you get to the right place, to meet the right people, to have the right kind of conversations that leave you feeling fulfilled, appreciated, and understood. After going through the Find Your Tribe coaching program, you'll discover who it is that you really want to be connected to, how to find those people, and what you need to talk about so that your relationship moves from an acquaintanceship to a close friendship. And with this program, you won't be on this journey alone. You'll have access to a private community in which there are others who are just as intentional about making the kind of connections you are. You'll also have access to live events like weekly Q&As, speed friending, and much more. You'll be able to practice your skills in a safe environment and feel confident to connect authentically when you get out into the real world. If you're ready to get started on making meaningful connections and lasting relationships, then apply to the coaching program by using the link in the show notes. I'll be right back with the Answer Reddit question. Hey, this is Coach Lee Hopkins here. I just want to let you know that you're awesome and your feelings matter. I know the holidays are fast approaching, and if you're going home to a family to be surrounded by people who don't believe that your feelings matter, and you constantly get caught up in the fighting and the frustrations, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, the obligations that you have with family, I want to empower you to break those generational patterns of disdain and distrust. I will be releasing content from my masterclass, Friends with Family. This content from Friends with Family is going to help you develop skills to be more grounded in yourself so that you can actually connect with your family. You're going to learn to create more connecting and curious conversations. You'll also learn how to navigate high drama topics without getting drawn into a conflict. Now, this course is not going to fix deep-seated problems that you might have with your family members, and it won't heal any traumas that you've experienced. It's going to help you communicate more authentically, to empower you to have regular conversations and actually connect with your family. It's my sincere hope that more of us out there who are breaking those generational patterns to not just stop the pain from moving forward, but to really become friends with our family. If you want to be a part of this, check the link in the show notes. All right, now it's time for the Reddit friendship advice question. If you have a friendship advice question that you think I should answer, tag me in it on Reddit. My handle is Brilliant and Resilient. That's Brilliant, the letter N, Resilient. How often do friends fight? My best friend and I had our first fight after being besties for 2 years. She's acting really different now, and I get it, but she's kind of acting like we can't be friends anymore, even though this is our first fight ever after 2 years. Is that normal? Okay, so there's just a little bit of text here. That's all of it. That's really all the thing they asked. And I thought, well, this is interesting. I want to comment on this. A couple of comments. I'll read a couple of comments from the Reddit post we fight every week and make up in the next 30 minutes. I don't know what y'all argued about, but it must have been a really important topic to both of you to die on those hills. What was it about anyway? She could have been justified, or maybe you're justified. And there's no response to that. Like the poster didn't respond to that. Another person wrote, best friends do fight and then make up, like all close friendships. Now, if the fight came to really nasty, put it in caps, really nasty, or if someone tried to strangle the other, that is different. But a normal fight, what you call, quote, having words, this is normal. The poster didn't comment on that either. And so when I read this, I thought, okay, this is great. I mean, people do fight and we don't know what to do about it. We hold grudges because we don't know how to express those feelings. I don't think I actually talked about how people who hold grudges are not great at communicating, but they don't really communicate how they feel about the experience, and they could perhaps not communicate how they feel about their experience with their friend because they don't know how. They don't know how, or they're not sure about how their friend is going to respond if they said, hey, you hurt me. And they might say something like, get over it, it's not a big deal. So I think this is what's happening in these few lines of text with the person who says, we had our fight, we've been besties for 2 years, but now that we had our fight, it seems like they don't know, talk to me. They don't want to have a friendship with me. And I think it's because the person who has felt transgressed against doesn't have the words to share how they feel about their experience. So instead of being in a situation in which they don't know how to handle, they are avoiding the situation, which is being around a friend at all and sharing those experiences. Because Every time, perhaps, I'm just guessing, I don't know, but every time they see that friend, they're like, oh, I remember that shitty thing that you did to me, and I want to talk about the shitty thing, but I don't know how to talk about that. So let me just avoid this conversation and connection overall and stop talking to you, period. And that's usually why people ghost, which is a separate topic. But these people who hold grudges, I'm mad. This person who is avoiding the friend, they're probably mad about something that happened. Whatever it is that they fought, the poster didn't really share their point of view. They basically gave just a little bit. It didn't share what happened, how they felt, or what they did, what was said, or anything like that. And I imagine that just because of that, and I'm making it up, I don't know, that the person who posted this said something egregious. Just like, whoa. Maybe they didn't notice that they said something like that, but they said something like, look, you coming for me, I'm going to cut you down. Don't come for me because I'm going to cut you down. You think that we're best friends, but when it comes to fight or flight mode, they might not even know this. They might not even know this. I'm coming for you. I'm going to knock your head off. And they could have said something that was really outrageously offensive to their friend. They could have said something, and they don't even notice that they did that. And so their friend is like, whoa, I did not know that you were that vicious. I'm very glad to see you, and please stay away from me. I'm going to stay away from you. So when we get into these grudges, have these kind of interactions with other people, they're confused. You, the person who is having the grudge, holding grudge against the person who wrote this post, somebody's probably holding a grudge against them. They're confused of why that person is holding a grudge against them. Because it's just a normal fight. This is just what I do in fight or flight mode. This is just what I do when it's time, when it's go time, when it's time to share my real feelings. If you want it, you got it. I'm here. Don't send for me because I'm going to show you exactly who I am. It's no big deal. Why are you upset? I don't understand. And so you hear, if you were a person who has transgressed against somebody and you can't understand why they're holding a grudge against you, it would be really valuable information to understand what actions and behaviors that you did. At the same point, at the same time, it's hard for them to want to share with you because you showed up as vicious. Vicious. You showed up as vicious. Savage. You came for blood. It's hard for them to want to tell you and be vulnerable. It's hard for them to want to tell you, hey, you hurt me, because they saw the savagery, the viciousness that you are. If you want to heal your relationships, for this person who says, how often do friends fight? It's not even about how often do friends fight. It's about what you said during the conversation. It's about how intense you were. It's about how dismissive you were about their feelings. It's about how you tried really hard to get your point across, and you may have hurt them in ways that you didn't notice. It's not about how often do friends fight. So, if you're a person who doesn't understand why someone's holding a grudge against you, what we need to do is put our teeth away. We need to put our weapons away. We need to demonstrate that we're only here to listen. It's hard to do, though, because perhaps you said something that feels true and right and real to you. And when they cry, it just makes you want to show your teeth again. Makes you want to show your weapons. When they get upset, when they frown, it makes you want to show those things again. Like, man, you're making something out of nothing. A mountain out of a molehill. This is not a big deal. It's the wrong direction. If your goal is to connect and understand and appreciate and and be close to that person. The attitude about their feelings, whether you think it's big or small, is important. It's really, really, really important. To answer this person's question, how often do friends fight? I don't know. I don't know exactly. I can't tell you when or how often they do. But I imagine that the right question is to ask, how do you share your feelings and demonstrate that you understand them? Because that's the thing that needs to happen. We're not always going to do things that are 100% correct. We're going to hurt our friends because we don't know what we don't know. And we might do something that feels good for us, and we think that's going to feel good for our friend, and we end up hurting them. Ouch. Not our intention, but certainly our impact. And we have to be able to hold space, or we have to be able to acknowledge or take accountability for the impact that we had, regardless of the intention that it was. And if we can't be accountable, for the impact that we've had on that person, we're going to have a fight. We're going to have a grudge. And if that person doesn't feel comfortable and safe enough to share with us that they have hurt, or we have been hurt by them, or they have been hurt by us, if they're not comfortable enough to share that with us, they're going to hold a grudge against us. And their relationship is going to fall apart. They're going to start avoiding us and not talking about those things. They're going to talk about the more important and interesting things that are happening in their life. You're going to watch this relationship fall apart. How often do friends fight? More like, how can I deal with it when my friend doesn't want to talk to me, or my friend is holding a grudge for me? How can I hold space for that person? You can hold space by your own emotional regulation. Breathe, stop, know that it's all about you, and focus on the bigger picture of the fact that you want a relationship with this person. You want to understand how they feel so that you don't do things that harm them in the future, because that was not your intention in the first place. Know those things and move forward with grace. Redditor, thank you so much for asking your question. I know that you didn't ask me to answer it, but I did, and I hope that it helps. Best of luck to you. Take care. My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and you have been listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. You can find me at patternsofpossibility.com and on all social media at Patterns of Possibility. And as always, I want to encourage you to be yourself, live your truth, and there you'll make lasting friendships.